Charlotte Daly of Male Sport Boxing, joined by Devin Haney. First of all, happy belated birthday. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. Look, this is a chance to become world champion again in a third weight class. Talk to me about what that does for your legacy and where you think that puts you.
I mean, it puts me, in the history books, even more than I once was. Puts me in the history books as a welterweight champion, something that I've always dreamed of. Being on the come up and, being a young kid, watching guys like Floyd, Mayweather, Leonard, just so many greats, become welterweight champions. So I knew that one day I would be here, and here we are.
You talk about the weight and the fact that in training you don't have to think about the weight anymore, and that's kind of been a real game changer for you. Recently, Chris Eubank Jr. was in the ring with Conor Benn, and a lot of talk after the fight was about how cutting weight over the years has impacted him drastically. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit about what it is like cutting weight and the effects that it does have on someone?
Yeah, I mean, I see people talking about, weight bullies and stuff like that, but they don't know that it really hurts you more than it helps you, when you're cutting weight. And I think it definitely, hurt some of my performances. Just me going in there, depleted, and I think this fight, I'm more of my natural self, more of my, myself when I'm at my best in the gym. Not focusing on cutting weight or, training to make weight. I'm training strictly on skill and game planning and getting better.
People talk as well about punch resistance and punch power. Is that something that we're going to see slightly different now from you in this fight as well?
Yeah, definitely. Punch resistance is what would be, would definitely, be better, just with me not being depleted. I think everything, I'll just be a better overall fighter. And like I said, you guys are going to see me, more of my best self and more who I am when I'm sparring and when I'm just, at my sharpest.
There's that talk of kind of Tom and Jerry boxing, and although you weren't named specifically, is there a pressure in general in boxing at the moment to perform and not just win well, but win with spectacular fashion?
Of course, that's every fight. I want to outdo myself. I want to, put on a dominant victory, not just a victory. I want to win, in dominant form. And this fight is not any different. I want to win, and I want to look good doing it.
Confidence is one of the things that people are talking about. The question mark is out there about whether you lost confidence after the Ryan Garcia fight. Do you feel like you did lose confidence, or do you think you've just changed now?
Yeah, I mean, I think both. I think that, of course, after a fight, with Ryan and, a fight that was initially a loss, of course, you lose confidence, you get discouraged, especially, once you find out a guy, is tested positive for PDs, and, it's just so much, happened in that one night. But it definitely changed me. I think it changed me for the better as well. Made me a better person, made me a better fighter, and I just look to bring that all that experience with me to the ring on November 22nd.
How do you get back in the ring, though, with confidence in the system of testing, considering the fact that, drugs testing is in place, but these people are getting caught either after fights or too late in fights? How do you walk into a ring knowing that maybe your next opponent could also show something at a later date? Yeah,
I mean, we go above and beyond to, make sure the testing is in place for months and months, and we got the most stringent testing possible with VADA, and we just do our best to make sure that we're on an even playing field.
Brian Norman was talking about the testing, about being tested on holiday, and the fact that your team were hot on it, rightly so. But do you think that that's where it stems from, the fact that what you went through with the Ryan Garcia situation?
Yeah, of course. Definitely, we definitely learn from that, and we do like I said, we do our best to make sure that the testing is as extreme as possible. And even me, I'm being tested year round. I'm not only being tested, when I have a fight schedule. I'm being tested, randomly, when I'm on vacation, when I'm here, when I'm there, they're hitting me up to come test me. But I just want to be an example, for the fighters that, coming up, and I want to clean up boxing and make sure that everybody's on the even playing field as best as I can.
Talking about confidence, you're taking on Brian Norman, who says he has bricks in his hands. Do you think you've wanted an opponent or picked an opponent like this to prove that your confidence is back and that you are ready to take on big hitters?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the type of fighter that I am. You know, I want to fight the best fighters in the world. I want to test myself, and I want to show how good I really am. And you know, they said a lot of things, and you know, they said that Brian Norman has these things that you know that can beat me, and I want to show that he doesn't. So you know, he's the best guy at 147 for now, and that's why I want to fight him. I want to be the man of the division like I once was, be welterweight champion, and that's why we're taking on the best guy.
Someone else who is looking for a fight with you, Conor Benn, after his fight with Chris Eubank, was calling out your name. Would that be a fight that would interest you at any point?
Yeah, of course. You know, that would be a fight that I would love one day. But it all starts with, you know, me being victorious against Brian Norman on November 22nd, and me becoming champion once again, and then we can go from there.
And last question for you. Anthony Joshua is now fighting Jake Paul. Have to get your take on that. Should that be happening? Is it a good thing or a bad thing for boxing?
I think it's a great thing for the sport of boxing. You know, they were saying that Jake Paul, you know, was fighting this person and that person, but you know, now he has a real test to get to, you know, solidified champion, and you know, through the amateur ranks, through the pro ranks, you know, a guy who's battle tested, and we get the chance to see how good Jake really is.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.